Ripple. Brad, thank you so much for being here. It's great to see you.
Good to see you too, Kate. Thanks for having me.
Of course, it's a big week for crypto with this executive order. What does this mean for the industry, and what's the big takeaway for you?
Look, I think this has been a very positive event, and frankly, we had heard, as I'm sure you had, a lot of rumors about an upcoming executive order. And I think this exceeded my expectations of what we could have even hoped for. Because, look, the first step to solving a problem is acknowledging you have one. And for me, the executive order is really calling out something we've been saying for years, that one, this is a massive industry. It's not going away. We have tens of millions of U.S. citizens participating in various ways, which is awesome. But it also is calling out that, look, we have had a fragmented and siloed approach to regulation here in the United States, and that is impacting the United States leadership in this very critical, very rapidly growing industry. So I thought it was a very positive evolution, and I'm hopeful that it'll catalyze some solutions that we haven't seen yet.
And that seemed to be one of the big themes, competitiveness and the U.S. not wanting to fall behind on being on really the forefront of innovation. Do you think that played into it, the U.S. feeling like it might be falling behind?
I think it's clear it had a big impact in why the executive order is written. I think what we have seen really, and you kind of see, particularly the talk about silos, you kind of see to some degree the executive branch saying, hey, this SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, can't take singularly the lead because it has to think holistically. Every time the SEC is mentioned in the executive order, it's alongside the CFTC as well as the CFPB. And I think we have seen here in the United States, things have been withheld. They've been moving more slowly. And as to your question, outside the United States, in countries like Japan, in Singapore, in the UK, in Switzerland, even in the UAE, you're seeing entrepreneurs and investors able to pursue opportunities in crypto and blockchain without that uncertainty, because the regulatory clarity has been there. Something Ripple has been calling for from well beyond even the recent lawsuit with the SEC.
So you mentioned the SEC. I got to ask you about the SEC versus Ripple case. What can you tell us about that at this point? What's the latest, and has there been any progress when it comes to that lawsuit?
Well, it's been, almost not quite a year and a half since the SEC sued Ripple, sued myself, sued Chris Larson, and we are moving as expeditiously as we can. It has certainly been frustrating to see the SEC drag their feet. This wrapped up. The SEC had sought delays around that, and I mean, one of the ironies around this has been that Gary Gensler, the chair of the SEC, has been quoted as saying, "Justice delayed is justice denied." And then the SEC goes out and seeks delays. It's rare for a defendant against the SEC to be pushing to see things happen faster, but we think it's very clear that the SEC has overstepped. The SEC has taken what's called the Howey test, which is the test to determine if something's security, and they've really stretched it beyond recognition. So I'm hopeful and optimistic we'll see some decisions around some key elements that are before the court today, that maybe within weeks. We'll see. I think the questions that that the court has been asking have been very thoughtful, and I'm hopeful that we'll get some clarity soon.
And you've described the SEC in the past as really picking winners, and the idea that XRP as a cryptocurrency has been taken off of exchanges like Coinbase. In some senses, investors have missed out and not been able to trade XRP on those exchanges. Ripple has also seen certain downsides. Is it fair to say that the SEC is picking winners when it comes to XRP or other cryptocurrencies?
Well, one of the things I loved about the executive order, there are a number of themes that we have been at least championing in the marketplace that we saw in that executive order. One of them was about the importance of a level playing field. And as you pointed out, a big part of that executive order was around U.S. competitiveness. And what we saw happen at the SEC is picking winners and losers, saying, hey, we don't think ETH is a security, but we do think XRP is a security, despite a whole lot of similarities. So I think that with the executive order, I'm hopeful that we'll get some of that level playing field we have sought. It's certainly not the role for the federal government to pick winners and losers. I think I'm a supporter and believer in what's happening in the Ethereum ecosystem. There's different use cases. And again, the executive order calls out specific use cases, for example, around cross-border payments, where Ripple has been focused really since the beginning, and how XRP, the digital asset kind of native to our solution, can really solve a lot of problems and benefit many consumers and businesses here in the United States.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And guys, we have Brad Garlinghouse on CNBC. And this was a wonderful interview because it was straight to the point. We have the Ripple movie coming to an end. We know the Ripple movie was started to kick this regulation can down the road. Now Biden signs the executive order on studying cryptos. As we know from Jerome Powell, they've been studying cryptos for decades. So we know this is not about the study. It's about putting it in the masses' minds that crypto, digital assets are here and are here to stay, but we know why. And that is because of the fourth industrial revolution, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take over the economy and the sheep go inside the metaverse. The world reserve currency, the United States dollar, is about to come to an end. And the digital yuan is about to rise. And guys, this was set up a long time ago. Cross-border payments are going to be so important to the Belt and Road. And what does XRP, XLM, and Lightning Network do? Free up liquidity. And that's what it's all about. But in the United States, across the globe, this legacy market raising interest rates is going to choke off the economy, choke up that liquidity, which is going to cause hyper-deflation. And that's what Kathy Woods always talk about, and that's the reason why she's invested in the fourth industrial revolution, because crypto means hidden message. This is for the robots, algorithms, and drones. And what does a New World Order work off of? Problem. They create the problem. And we saw all the problems that they created. They wait for the reaction, and then they run in with the solution. And we know what that solution is. Cryptocurrencies. That digital yuan is going to rise back by that digital SDR. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows. When it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols? Who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.